We bought a domain, talked a little about DNS, and now it's time to buy a VPS. One little thing we need to do before is to add a public SSH key to the Linode account. As I said previously, I won't be explaining every single detail, and creating and using SSH keys is one of those things. Good resource for this and many other things is ArchWiki, so be sure to check it out if you're not familiar with SSH keys. With that out of the way, open your web browser, go to the Linode website, in the sidebar click Linodes and click Create Linode. For the distribution, choose Arch Linux, and for the region, choose a location near you or your customers. I'm in Europe, so I'll go with Frankfurt. If you don't know what you need out of these, just go with shared CPU, and for the Linode plan, choose Linode 8 gigs. This will come with 4 CPUs, 160 gigs of storage and 8 gigs of RAM. This will cost you $40 a month. That is not cheap, but in order to run everything we want to run, GitLab being the biggest cog here, we need that kind of power. For a similar amount of money, you can get a lot more powerful dedicated server, e.g. on Hetzner. Since this course is using Linode, if you go with Hetzner or any other provider, you will have to adjust a few things. Your choice. Scroll down a little bit. We will add a label to our VPS, do-p, and we'll skip adding tags. We will disable password login later and use SSH keys only. Considering this field is mandatory in this form, don't put something too simple, because there are bad bots on the internet pounding on each IP address every second and trying default stuff, something like username root, password root, or username root, password admin, etc. So be sure to use something complex, or you could get breached before you even started. Don't bother saving this password to a password manager. You are using a password manager, right? Because as I said, we will disable this type of login later. I will use a password provided by my web browser. I want my SSH key to be added to this VPS, so I'll select this. We'll ignore the VLAN option for now. We'll ignore backups too, because I want to teach you how to do it yourself, and we'll ignore the private IP option. Click Create Linode. After about a minute or so, our VPS is provisioned and is now running. I'll now create a file named notes.txt where I'll write down important stuff we'll use throughout this course. I'll first copy this IP address, open the terminal, open notes.txt in Vim. Note that I have an alias for Vim, just V, and maybe first write down a domain name we purchased, so do-p.com. and then paste the IP address assigned by Linode. There it is. I'll be adding more and more stuff as we go, so that we have all important things here in one place. Next thing, I'll create an SSH config entry for this VPS. Let me just grab a snippet I have prepared. Okay, so this will add an entry in my SSH config file. And if you've never seen this kind of syntax, it's called a here document or here doc. Be sure to check it out. And now we can test if we can actually SSH to our VPS. And it works.